The meeting has been noticed to Evans Printing Media Group, WCOW Radio, Magnum Radio, La Crosse Tribune, Sparta City Hall, Sparta Free Library. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
We have a first from Ms. Presswood, a second from Mr. Lukasik to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The one and only item, discussion and possible action on board policy 904. So, I don't know, I'll just say it came from a few different board members for a request on this item. Probably about 3 or 4 different people. So, to start discussion, I will make the first motion that starting immediately that Article 904 is going to be reading that face masks are going to be recommended, and that for the board, we will look at the actual verbiage of policy 904 to align with what we need at the next committee and board meeting.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Discussion?
I think as far as understanding verbiage, I mean, what are the thought processes? See, here's the thing, we voted unanimously to create a committee. And so I don't want everything to just get thrown out the window. I do understand we're close. We're like a few weeks away from the threshold being broken. So that's why I'm not fighting about it right now, but I just want to make sure, we will have discussion about how policy 904 will look moving forward. So we're not just throwing it out and leaving ourselves open if something ends up happening next fall, correct?
Correct. I mean, our article or policy 904 is still going to be in place. It's still going to be there. It's just the whole process came so quickly that nobody's had the ability to go through and say, hey, 904 is going to be this.
If I could address that?
Yes.
There are several different directions that policy 904 could go. We've kind of gone back and forth between setting metrics and having the board make that decision. So both of those options may be on the table. It's not a decision that has to be made right now in order for the board to approve overruling it for the time being. Given the case rates, given where Monroe County Health has been, and given the other districts in our area, I'm very comfortable with this coming forward at this time.
I mean, with Monroe County changing their quarantine guidelines, I think it's kind of a no-brainer, or contact tracing, sorry. It's kind of a no-brainer for me at this point. So.
And I think we look at this policy again this summer when things are less tumultuous in our area. That might be a better time to re-examine. But I think, I know I pushed for the committee and we met and we laid this all out there, but as stated, things are moving a lot quicker than what we had anticipated. And I think we go ahead with this.
Well, I don't think it's quite so much of a no-brainer. We did formulate the committee. They came up with recommendations. We adopted the recommendations. Nothing really has changed other than our neighbors decided not to do the masks. However, I can see which way the wind's blowing, so I certainly won't oppose this. And also, in December, when we talked about setting up goals, my suggestion was the 5-day rolling average should be at least 3, and now it's 3. So I'd be a hypocrite if I opposed this at this time. So I will support the current motion.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ed.
I wasn't comfortable with the number being as low as 15. And I made my point at that meeting. I also made my point at how realistic it is with the herd 70% that the committee made. I do take my hat off to the committee. They made their choices at that time with the data that was available to them at their time. The hard work that they put into, they should be congratulated on. But we are here today and the data has changed. Our neighbors' districts and those who've been on the board know that I don't like to be compared to the other districts. I like to go by what data says. And I'm very comfortable with lifting the mask requirement, not because the other districts have it, but because the data shows the sharp decline. And I've been all for safety. And I think that, we have the ability and the decision as board to put masks on if we feel that there's a danger to our district. At this point in time, I think that we're safe and that we should go ahead and make the mask. If students want to wear the masks, fine. If the numbers start crawling up and this pandemic changes somehow, well, then we have another discussion to put for mediation. But for right now, I'm in favor of going ahead and, putting on there that mask is recommended, but it's up to the parents and it's up to the community to decide whether or not they're going to wear them.
Any discussion, James? Roll call.
Mr. Hendricks,
Yes.
Mr. Rasmussen,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasik,
Yes.
Ms. Presswood,
Yes.
Mr. Schulte,
No.
Mr. Lyden.
Yes. Motion carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-1. Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second